Hey there, Bookkeeping Side Hustle community. It's Kate. We are here with another edition of Behind the Hustle. Today, we're interviewing Chris Kocina. He's going to introduce himself here in a little bit. The purpose of this series of interviews is to provide a real-life look at what it is like to be a bookkeeping entrepreneur and be successful in this industry. There are a lot of messages out there where, maybe this is easy or anybody can do this or it's a quick buck. And we are going to use these interviews to get the real life story. I call it the good, the bad, and the ugly of what it means to be a bookkeeping entrepreneur. So that's what you can expect during this interview. As always, I'm going to ask the same questions of all these guests. So this is our third interview, and there's a playlist on YouTube is where I'm hosting the other two. So make sure you're subscribed to this channel. And please, let's give some comments. You can chime in from where you're watching from. If you hear anything, if you hear Chris say anything that's inspiring, feel free to comment for those of you watching live or after the fact. Before we jump into our questions, I do want to thank our sponsor. We're going to thank Right Tool. It's sponsored by Right Tool. If you use QuickBooks Online without Right Tool, you do not know what you're missing. Right Tool enhances the entire experience for QuickBooks Online power users, with the free version providing all sorts of navigational improvements and shortcuts, and the pro version, which adds batching tools to delete, create, and edit many types of transactions in batch, saving you hours of work in your monthly bookkeeping and cleanup work. Visit righttool.app to start the free edition. And when you're ready to upgrade to the pro version, use code HUSTLE30, that's HUSTLE 30, to get 30% off the pro edition for the first year. Visit righttool.app. All right, thanks again, Right Tool. So Chris, how about we just let you have a chance to say hello, and then I'll jump into our first question about your background. But just give us your name and your bookkeeping business, and why don't you tell us where you're calling in from?
Yeah, my name is Chris Kocina. I am the owner of Live Free Bookkeeping, and I'm currently stationed in Bangkok, Thailand. And I'm about to be taken off to my next destination soon here. But I took my business name to heart, and I'm living free right now.
Living free. We'll during this interview, maybe we'll find out if you picked the name before you picked the lifestyle. We'll see. The first question I want to ask you is to tell us about your educational background, your training, your career background that led you up to starting this business. So I think it's a good thing for people to understand that this does require some sort of knowledge. You don't have to have it necessarily before you start, but you got to get it. So what was Chris pre-Live Free Bookkeeping? What were you doing?
I was working in a factory. I was working in a local leather tanning company in town. Started there at a young age. It paid well. I actually barely made it through high school. I was a little bit rebellious, but made it through the finish line. And after about 6 years, while I was working at the factory, I decided to go to college because I realized that lifestyle wasn't what I wanted to keep doing. I wanted to work my way up the ladder. But by the time I got through college, I had no interest in working up the corporate ladder anymore. And the idea of becoming an entrepreneur is something I'd always thought about as a kid. I remember I wanted to be like a skate park owner one day or something when I was younger, but I started looking around and I found this, I think the Penny Hoarder article with Bookkeeper launch. And so I dug into that. I went to college for business management, and in that there was accounting principles. So I got a touch of accounting. I realized how important it was for small businesses, or any business for that matter, how important the accounting side is. So that was something I kind of knew as I read that article, and I didn't know what a bookkeeper was when I read the article, and I was like, that sounds really cool. I can make a business basically tracking other people's finances, which is something that had been interesting to me. So I dove in, took the course, and it took me a while to get going. I had to fight the imposter syndrome and get myself out there, and because I honestly thought, like what you're saying in that intro there, like when I started this, I thought like within a couple months I'll have a handful of clients. Like I thought I was gonna be making money like soon. I got a business. I was like, all right, where's the clients? And then you learn you gotta go find them. You gotta do what they call farming, and start planting those seeds out there. And so that's what I did. I just kept doing that. And eventually I quit the full-time job. Even before I really had the bookkeeping business going off, I knew that needed to get out of the way so I could focus more on it, and jumped in with both feet, and I haven't looked back since.
All right, we'll get to that question about that first client. I do want to say, I think you're the first person that I've interviewed that has mentioned Bookkeeper Launch. That is the course that I took, y'all. It sounds like we took it about the same time, although I don't remember running into you in the like social media groups that they manage, because I bought it in 2017, and you had mentioned that that's when you had bought it to me before the call. But yeah, it's still a robust program. It's managed by a young guy, Jaime, bought it from the original.
Jaime's awesome. Shout out to Jaime.
Shout out to Jaime. Yeah, we've interviewed him. I have a review of the Bookkeeper Launch program, y'all, on this channel. I'll put the link below and put the link to the course if you want to learn about that. There are a lot of these courses. Make sure you pick one that you jive with the creator, with the leader, because it's not rocket science. But it's also really hard, and you're going to need people who can encourage you, I think, to go through whenever the days get dark and the prospects dry up and all that. So, but yeah, so we're Bookkeeper Launch brother and sister. Okay, that's cool. That's really cool.
Yep. I'm sure we've run into each other at BBL or BKX or something.
Maybe,
you look familiar. Yeah.
I had gone to. I did go to 2 of those conferences that they put on.
Okay.
So. It sounded like it was hard to get that first client. Can you tell us about how you got your first client?
Yeah, it was through in-person networking. So I joined the BNI because that was probably the most popular one listed when I looked into in-person networking at the time. And the reason we haven't interacted a whole lot is because I've been kind of a social media hermit, give or take. I'm getting more into it now, but so digital marketing and all of that didn't appeal to me at all. So I wanted to get out there and meet people in my community. So I joined the BNI group. And after, I think it was about a month or 2, my first client is actually, I still have this client, and they're actually my biggest client to date, most complex client. But that was also an interesting way to get started.
Right.
I didn't get an easy, like, single member LLC, no payroll or anything. No, I got like a construction. It's a nonprofit construction company, so there's 2 different niches put together. I had to figure out. Yeah,
2 things that are hard. Wow.
Yeah, so I didn't exactly start out easy, but when I look back at it, I think that really helped me because I realized quickly how not easy it was. Like I had to learn and continue learning. There's no like stopping point. I'm still learning to this day. So
yeah. Well, it's a good, it says a lot about you that you still have this client. So
one of my favorites too, that I love working with them. It's an organization, but yeah.
Very cool.
Really that's a side thing that comes out of this too, is those relationships that you build with the people around you.
Yeah.
I didn't see coming.
If y'all have any more questions about how, Chris kind of continued to grow, we'll hopefully get to some of those or ask him in the chat, y'all, or in the comments below. But now I want to ask you just what the hardest part of entrepreneurship has been, because that's like a whole different skill set than just the debits and credits, which we all really have to know. And if you're doing nonprofit bookkeeping or construction bookkeeping, you got to know that balance sheet. It's like all balance sheet stuff instead of easy like service business who has hardly any expenses. So what's been the hardest part?
I think it seems like it gets hard as you go, and there's more challenges as you go. But honestly, it's not like the hardest part was in the beginning.
Okay.
And that's the easiest time to quit because you don't have anything built up. Because there's so much uncertainty, so much you don't know. You don't know how you're going to make it. You don't know, like, there's just so much uncertainty. And I think that's just like the hardest part because it's also a lonely time. You're generally transitioning from maybe working to becoming a business owner, and you find out pretty quickly that those conversations don't go that well with friends and family because they don't really know what it's like to be a business owner. So you kind of start getting into this isolated spot, and you're like, it's really tough. So I think, and Alex Hormozi really said it the best. He said it in the beginning. It's like you're in a fight with a bear, and all you have is a stick. And as you progress, you become this person that's got like an army behind you, and you're fighting a dragon, arguably a bigger opponent, but you have all the support, this experience, and everything. So as you go, it just seems to get easier because of the confidence. I'd say, yeah, the beginning was, yeah, it's tough.
Tough, yeah. So now let's. We don't want to leave it on the hard side, right? The bad side. What's been the best part? What's been the best part of entrepreneurship? Share an example or two of like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is my life. This was an amazing day or an amazing project, or what's the best part?
I'm living it right now. The fact that I could do this, to work remotely, like if I turn the camera on, you can see I have like a mini mobile command center. So it's amazing that as long as I have the internet, I can go anywhere within the world. And so it's a freedom, absolutely the freedom. And before that, even when I just had an office when I was back in the States at home, there's just the freedom of being able to like schedule appointments and stuff, like maybe a dentist or something in the middle of the day or whenever it's most convenient, and like just having that freedom. And I think the relationships too, that'd be another thing. But
is this the first
nothing
big
beats just freedom?
Is this the first big like digital nomad adventure that you've done? So started in 2017, it's 2025. Yep. So it's not like, oh, I could be living on a beach in 6 months.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, it takes some time. Yep.
Yeah. Maybe we'll get into more of that. I want to get into some more of the nuts and bolts of the firm though. So what's the firm look like? Is there staff? Is there contractors? Are you still solo? What's the structure like?
Yep. So I have one international contractor, Kit. She's amazing. She's my rock star. She's full time, and then I have a VA as well, and she's amazing. She actually helped me with the rebranding, and like she does a bunch of stuff in the background. So just those two people right now, and.
So are you still doing some of the technical client work, or is that
Yep.
Okay, you're still doing, but you said Kit is doing some?
Yep, she's actually taken on quite a bit. She does a lot of the day-to-day stuff, going through receipts and bank transactions, and then I'm just kind of here for support for a lot of those clients. And then there's a few clients I'm still training her in on, but
okay.
I like keeping some skin in the game too. It's I don't think I ever want to get away from that. Like even if I grow this thing to like $1 million firm, I'd still be doing my own books.
Okay. It reminds me that Ben Stein, who is the developer and owner and founder of Keeper, which is a big SaaS app, but he says he's the bookkeeper for Keeper because he wants that making sure his I guess he uses Keeper to do his bookkeeping with QBO.
That would make sense. That would.
And it makes me like, I really believe that, especially some of y'all know, like I have a real firm, Heritage Business Services, but I do this bookkeeping side hustle work too. And it's, I found ways to like generate income from this. This stream had a sponsor, but like in a lot of ways, this is sort of a labor of love as well. But I don't want to just do bookkeeping side hustle stuff. I've always said the day that I get rid of Heritage Business Services is the day that y'all should like stop, listen to what I have to say, because like I think those skills have got to grow stale over time. So I don't know. I know not everyone does that, and you want to be running things and doing the more high level stuff. But I can totally respect you saying that there always might be a client or two that you will keep your skills sharp.
Things keep changing.
Yeah.
Like if you look away for like 2 months, you're gonna miss out on some updates or new tools, or like that's one reason I have to stay in. But yeah.
So let's talk about the tech stack now. So a lot of people watching this are want to know like how have you built your 7 years? So you're kind of a little salty actually. So you're I think you're probably the oldest of the 3 interviews we've done in terms of the business as being the old, not age wise, but just been around. So talk about that tech stack, maybe even the journey of the tech stack, but for sure let us know what you're using now.
Yeah, so what I'm using right now, and I'll just look at it. I have a folder with all my bookmarks. So it's QuickBooks Online. I use Dex for receipt management, Gusto for payroll, Keeper for the overall CRM. I love using Notion. I'm trying to integrate that more and more as I grow with it. Anchor for billing, and then Core Pay for bill pay, and then Loom videos. That's huge once you get a team. You got to have Loom. And then outside of that is I use 3 different AI platforms: Grok, ChatGPT, and Perplexity. I kind of bounce around those but I use those quite a bit too. But that would be my main stack right now.
Are you using those AI tools?
And Right Tool.
Oh, and Right Tool.
I forgot.
Okay.
I don't have a bookmark for it because it's always on. But yeah, I love Right Tool.
You can't. Okay, very cool. I think every single one of our interviews have used Right Tool, and I told Hector specifically that I'm not picking people who use. I asked you without knowing that you use Right Tool, so that's just how important that's how important that tool is to people who use QuickBooks Online. I had a question. The AI tools. 3. So 3. That's not just one. I mean, that's why. Maybe why 3, but also I want to know if you're using them for technical accounting stuff.
Not so much of that. I want to get more into that. That's why I like keeping my skin in the game. Like I like to continue studying, and so I haven't really fully applied what I can do with AI, but I use it a lot, mainly communication. I use a text expander on my keyboard. So I have a couple built-in prompts that I can easily, modify all my emails just to make sure they're clear and concise and professional. And then I use it for like problem solving a lot too, deep research on certain things. So it kind of it changes the more I get involved with it.
Okay. All right. Now, sort of my favorite question, that the one I let everyone who comes on know that I'm going to ask is. I would love for you to share anything you can about your revenue, or if not revenue, the bottom line, how much you charge your clients, how did you determine your prices when you started, and how have you raised them? I really want to give people a taste of the real life pricing numbers, like income numbers, so they can know what the truth is. You've been doing this a while. You went to college. You have a business management. Did you finish this degree?
Yep.
Yeah,
it's funny. I actually got a 4.0 in college, but I barely made it to high school. People change.
Late bloomer. Yeah, there you go. So there's obviously some, significant technical skills and training behind you, but you've also been doing this 7 years. Let's hear some numbers.
Yeah. So I honestly my numbers should be higher. I'll admit I'm one of those that has a hard time increasing my prices, there's been times where I've been so busy I look back at it, I'm like, oh geez, I'm not making much here. So okay. I could be doing more, but last year gross was just over 140. But every year has been consistent growth. So I've never had a dip in revenue. It's always gone up, and this year is projected to go up. And I'm getting better at my pricing. That's part of it too, is just understanding. Really, I started with the pricing calculator that was shared around in the BL community, and that was a really good foundation for me. And then after a while, I actually built out a big spreadsheet and put out all my clients, like number of transactions, bill pay, all the different variables to see, and how much time I was spending on like 6 months, 12 months and all that. And I actually started to break it down to see, because everybody's so different. Especially if you don't really have a niche, you'll have a bunch of different types of clients, and even a similar pricing strategy doesn't always fit perfectly across the board. But maybe that's one of the things I should just be doing too, standardizing everything. So I'll admit pricing is something I need to visit and get better at, but there's a craft to it.
So our very first interview with Lindsay, she told us she was halfway through her EA exams. And so on this live stream call, I was like, okay, so what day are you scheduling your next exam? And I put all this pressure on her. And then 2 weeks later, she's like, okay, Kate twisted my arm. I took my test. I'm an EA now. So maybe we'll just say, okay, Chris, by end of Q3, can you send any price increase letters? Is there anything that you've known you needed to do? And we'll check back in. It's hard, and you're clearly have built something that is serving you well. And I think people forget that maybe is the ultimate goal. Kate also I make this much money, but I'm living in Thailand and I'm going where I want and when I want. And I'm guessing, like, time-wise on the books, are you building like the hours-wise? Is it also a pretty live-free type of hours, or do you feel like you're still in a pretty hard grind right now?
It took a dramatic drop recently. So basically, Kit was fully behind me too, as she planted the seed for the whole digital nomad thing.
Okay.
And so as I was preparing for it, she knew that like she wanted to take on more so that I could enjoy this more. So it has been improving quite a bit. But I was doing, the 60-hour, 70-hour weeks for quite a while.
Okay, but you've built to a way to not have to do that, and you're testing out this. I guess if it all falls apart, you can come back to America and kind of rebuild and save up your savings again. Well, I appreciate those numbers. Folks listening or wanting to listen listening after this, like, comment below with how those numbers make you feel. 140. That's certainly got to go a long way overseas, I'm sure. And so that's so awesome. So the last thing I want to leave us with is the question of, what's your best advice for a new bookkeeper? Not everyone is going to be new, but I do think there's going to be a lot of people who are new or who haven't started in earnest. Maybe they have one client or two, but people who are like, okay, I'm ready to actually like be a business owner. What's your best advice?
I think it ties right into what we were just talking about. I, from the get-go, was never really concerned too much about money. I just know I needed enough to make it, but I wasn't, that money wasn't the biggest thing. Like, I wanted to help people. And so I think when I boil it down, the best advice I can give to somebody is to master your craft. So continue learning, start where you are and use what you have and do what you can. Keep learning, master your craft, and treat your people as best as you can.
Okay.
And from there, I think you'll build a solid community. And
one of the things, this idea of mastering your craft, I don't know, a lot of people have seen me talk about this. I have my mouse pad that's just the accounting equation, and it's got like the basic T charts.
The old T charts, yeah.
And like every accounting student ever, like Accounting 101 has like had like a cheat sheet like this, like, okay, assets go up on the debit side, and it just has like little arrows of like positive and negative. What side are we expecting this account to be? And this is kind of silly. Like, you can draw this out on your own and tape it on your wall. But I just like being nerdy and having a mouse pad. But that's the fundamentals. And so like, it gives me like, I know the debits and the credits. And if there's a rare occasion that I don't, it's like, it almost feels good because I'm like, I know the debits and credits so well that I don't know the answer to this question. So I have to go and figure it out. But it's like, because I know them so well, I'm like, okay, I haven't thought about deferred revenue in a while. I better go think about that. And I'm usually able to like get into the ballpark before I actually like then do the research. I'm like, okay, yeah, I confirmed my instinct, right?
Your hypothesis, yeah. You're like mind mapping it, and you're like,
I always try to predict what I expect is going to happen whenever I have like any uncertainty. I'll like, sometimes even when I'm talking with a client, I'll say, okay, I'm going to close my eyes and I'm going to say, when we check this report, this is what I need to see. And so then if we don't see it, it's like, otherwise you kind of get trick yourself into like false positives almost. So just that, those fundamentals are really, really, really important. I think it helps with imposter syndrome too. I didn't work in a factory, but like I was a stay-at-home mom, and like I hadn't done accounting stuff in like a long time. And so to be able to like just have a good grasp of like the assets equals liabilities plus equity and how the financial statements speak to each other, then you'll just feel like $1 million, because the business owners definitely don't know those things. Like, they're not comfortable with those things. I think that's great.
Funny. I always remembered doctors have a lot of assets and expenses, and that's DR, debits. So debit accounts are assets and expense, and then everything else is credit. But we all have those little tricks that you've got it, because you got to fall back on that all the time.
Okay, so those of you who have been listening and who are listening after the fact, it would mean so much if you left a comment on this video about how it helped you, how it's going to inspire you, what little nugget you will take. Chris, I want to thank you for sharing all of this information. And if anyone else knows of an interesting bookkeeper that you want me to interview about their story, please reach out to me and let me know. You can find me in the Bookkeeping Side Hustle Facebook group. Y'all know that I always hang out there. Be sure to check out the other interviews in this series. In the description of this video, y'all, I will link to the full playlist. So over time, this list is going to grow. I've already got our 4th interview scheduled. It'll be coming up in a couple of weeks. And I don't plan on stopping because I think this is one of the best things I can do for the entrepreneurial accounting community is give these real life stories, because bookkeeping changed my life. Sounds like it changed Chris's life too. But it's not without its, lows as well as the highs. It's not without its tears. It's not without its struggles. So, but then you get to look back and be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Y'all, Chris has said that his website is livefreebookkeeping.com. That's live without the E, L-I-V. You can find him there. Tell us about this YouTube channel too. I have a link to your YouTube channel in our description, but what are you YouTube about?
So this is going to be like the whole digital nomad journey. So I haven't posted my first video. That's coming very soon. My goal is to get it this week, but I've got a ton of content that I've been filming, just like my experience here. I intend to do some like personal growth stuff just from along my journey, what I've learned, and kind of along the same lines. It's just try to help people, see what it's possible. It's hard, but it's possible.
Y'all, I'm going to make sure that the link to his channel is going to get top billing in the description below. Definitely subscribe to him as a fellow YouTuber. I know how important that is. So, Chris, we are going to wrap up. We're going to end the stream. Y'all will be back with another interview in the near future. Adios, everyone.